Welcome to Taking Stock number 75, which I am tentatively calling Back to the Future, Part 6. This is, as you may have guessed, a recorded rather than a live presentation, or as some would call it entirely tautologously, a pre-recorded presentation. Tautologous because if it's recorded, then by definition it has to have been done prior to the broadcast, so the pre is entirely redundant. Recorded is sufficient. The same, of course, applies to the use of the term pre-prepared. It is either prepared or it isn't. That phrase almost shouts aloud its inherent tautological paradox, since the word it's ruining actually already legitimately contains the syllable by the additional use of which it's ruined. But let's not go down that particular grammatical rabbit hole, or we'll be completely off track by the end, or at least more than normal. What led me to make that observation? Oh yeah, it was recording, wasn't it? Right, well, I was thinking about recording because usually my recordings of Taking Stock are published fairly contemporaneously. You could be watching it, in theory, on the same day it was recorded, maybe in the same hour it was recorded. So you can pretty much guarantee that if you see me wearing my favourite colour clerical shirt, green, and my favourite Welsh hoodie, this one, in this film, I'll still be wearing this excitingly raffish combo while you're actually watching the video, except I'll probably have taken out the plastic insert by then, except today. Today I am on holiday and have been in theory since last Thursday or Friday, so I can guarantee that while you are watching me in glorious Technicolor channeling Robin Hood and his merry men in Lincoln Green, I'm not actually wearing a green shirt and hoodie at all. In all probability I'm sitting, unshaven and slovenly, on my Gibson guitar stool, nerdling away at my CS339 and trying to work out the chords to Everybody Hurts by R.E.M. Anyway, they are usually recorded on the same day they are published because in Taking Stock, I want to be as up to the minute and contemporaneous as possible. So before I wrote this, last Friday, from your temporal point of view, I got to wondering what is likely to have happened between my now, which is last Friday, and your now, which is today, but it's next Wednesday for me. To quote Doctor Who, I hope you aren't getting confused by this wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. What was I saying? Oh yeah, what might have happened between now and your now, which might render this piece either particularly prescient or pathetically passé? The answer is, of course, that I don't know. I may have been taking a break for the last 5 days doing calligraphy and stuff, but the world doesn't just cease all activity because I'm on holiday. In the intervening 5 days, the Prime Minister might have resigned, and you might already be getting over the shock of seeing Michael Gove gurning on the steps of 10 Downing Street. The Queen might have abdicated and simultaneously caused a constitutional crisis by signing a decree naming an obscure German ex-nobleman as the next sovereign because he is the legitimate heir of the true kings of England and Scotland, the Stuarts, in which case a toast to the king over the water, eh? Scotland or Wales might have declared independence. Dirty Den might have returned to Albert Square for the 3rd or 4th time. And Donald Trump might be wearing a suit the same colour as his fake tan, ready for his next public appearance in a federal courthouse. It got me wondering, because although I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes, let alone the next 5 days, my only just future self, nerdling away on a guitar whilst you are watching this, knows exactly what has happened. So if given the opportunity, what would my only just future self be comforting or stroke warning my Friday night nerdler about right now? Come to that, since we're talking about utilising the impossible literary conceit of time travel, why stop at last Friday? I mean, today. Why go back further? Why not go back further, or even further forward? What would my 63-year-old self want to tell my 13-year-old self? What warning or encouragement would he want to give him, that fresh-faced youth, or acne-ridden little Herbert, depending on whose view of my 13-year-old self you have, mine or my then 18-year-old older brother's? That boy would just about now be arriving home after BB Company section night and tossing his pillbox hat, knapsack and belt into the understairs cupboard for another week. Would I exhort him to go against his own nature and actually settle down to tackle the schoolwork which bores him or baffles him in equal measure, rather than lying awake night after night reading classic science fiction and history until it's coming out of his ears? Would I suggest he drops the small friendship group which his parents thought led him astray and half of whose members ended up dead before their time, but which did help him turn into at least half-decent snooker player? Would I urge him to follow his inclination and go and apply to drama school, rather than believing what his careers master said, that it wasn't what boys from his background ever pursued or succeeded at, quite frankly, Mr. Jenkins? Who's to say? On balance, I'm pretty sure that my 13-year-old self wouldn't have listened, even if I was given the chance to say any of these things to him. And maybe that's right. For although I am in almost every important respect, as far as I'm concerned, still recognisably that 13-year-old boy, he is not yet me, and neither should he be burdened with the knowledge of what he is to become. We're not merely the sum of our experiences, but we carry both the joys and sorrows of becoming, the mental and physical scars and the spiritual highs and lows, which have propelled or pursued us along the trajectory of our lives. So is there little to be learned then, and less to be gained from contemplating who we were from the vantage point of where we are? Well, I wouldn't say that. It's always possible to learn and to grow through understanding how we've developed and what the influences were on our development. But despite the film title at the front, life isn't lived backwards, and to dwell too long in what is past and unchangeable may diminish the value of the one period of time over which you have any genuine control at all, and that's in the now, this moment, or these moments that God has granted you. The day will come for every one of us when the sun will rise for us and never set, or the night will come when for us the sun will set and fail to rise. But until that day, there is today. And despite the restrictions of COVID-19 lockdown, that day will be rich in opportunities to echo the words of Genesis and say, "And there was evening and there was morning, and God saw that it was very good." So I hope you'll enjoy this gift of a day which God is going to give you next week. I know I'll be enjoying it, because if I'm spared, then right about now I'm sitting on this guitar stool with my beautiful Gibson CS339, and no doubt, as the guitar genius I didn't know I was going to become, I've just cracked the accompaniment to Everybody Hurts. Stay safe, people.